A Lakers insider just revealed some crazy details surrounding D'Angelo Russell of the Los Angeles Lakers. After the Lakers benched him earlier this season, it seemed like it was the end for D'Lo and his time as being a contributor to the Los Angeles Lakers. However, ever since getting moved to becoming the sixth man, the Lakers have not lost a game. He has done pretty well in this new role, and it seems like the Lakers agree, and now that they are hesitant to even include him in a potential trade. Welcome to Lakers Digest. My name is Hunter Pitcoff, and we cover everything surrounding your Los Angeles Lakers. If you have not already, guys, subscribe to the channel because we just reached a remarkable accomplishment. 3,000 subscribers. 3,000 of you out there are keeping up with this channel every single day, and that's not even including you guys that are watching the videos and aren't even subscribed. So if you are not subscribed, guys, just stop what you're doing right now. Join the family because now it's growing. It's growing, guys. We got some buzz. We got a little bit of buzz out there. And you don't want to be off this bandwagon or not on it before we really start getting things rolling here. And like I said, we got a pretty big update to give you guys today. Crazy details about D'Angelo Russell and this recent report that came out there from a senior Lakers insider from Clutch Points. It's a pretty well-known publication that covers the NBA and basketball. If you're not super familiar, Anthony Irwin, this is what he had to say about D'Angelo Russell. So, to the sources that he has been talking to close to the Lakers, Russell playing well in this six-man role might make them a little more reluctant to part ways with him, as bench unit seriously struggled with Gabe Vincent at the helm. This is actually who Russell can be for the rest of the season. The Lakers might get even more picky about who they trade him for, or will look to find a more reliable option than Vincent as part of a Russell deal. So this is big news, guys, because ever since last season, it always felt like D'Angelo Russell was going to be in any sort of big trade that the Lakers were going to pursue, because he's a good basketball player. Last year, he was the third best option on the Lakers, had a phenomenal second half stretch of the season. Everyone calling him Deadline D-Lo because once the trade rumors started circling around him, he all of a sudden started playing his best basketball. This season, he entered as a starting point guard. JJ Redick was pretty affirmative that the starting lineup was going to be the one that we saw toward the second half and the end of the season, with D'Angelo Russell starting at your one. However, with Austin Reaves playing a lot better and Lakers struggling defensively, and D'Angelo Russell, quite frankly, getting off to a pretty rough start to the season, it seemed like the Lakers were at a bit of a standstill, as Darvin Ham was a few times where he didn't really know what combination was the best. But JJ Redick figured out pretty early on that, seeing that they don't really have a real initiator and guy off the bench that can create for others while creating for himself, bringing D'Angelo Russell off the bench, replacing him with Cam Reddish, a better defensive player, a guy who is bigger and more athletic, next to Austin Reaves, allowing Austin Reaves to have the ball more in his hands, as he's had by far the best start to his season of any season he's had in his career. And D'Angelo Russell has proven to be a nice, steady guy off the bench who we all know is capable of having those D-Lo moments and having those heat check moments where he seems like everything's going into the basket. So the Lakers see it too. The front office sees it. And they are recognizing now that D'Angelo Russell is a much more valuable asset as a sixth man. And you look at him way differently than you do as a starter, especially for the way this team is constructed. So as a result, you look at the numbers here for D'Angelo Russell, and be honest, they really aren't that great this year. As you guys know, I can't really always transition these graphics too well, but 12 points per game, a little under 5 assists. The shooting numbers have been horrendous. I mean, that's kind of what's been holding D'Lo back this year. Just the percentages aren't great. He shot over 40% from three last year. Had the single greatest season shooting the ball from three in Laker history, but you think that's bad. Look at Gabe Vincent's stats. As we are, oh boy, yours truly is, how can I not get here, guys? That's crazy. Here we go. I'm very bad at these graphics of working this, so bear with me. But Gabe Vincent's stats are even worse. Cardio Gabe, as I like to call him, because he's done next to nothing this year. 3 points a game. Hasn't recorded a block, or at least is averaging not even one. Under a steal. The shooting number is even worse. 28% from the field, 17.5% from three. So he has not been getting it done at all, whereas D'Angelo Russell has been a very solid guy off the bench. Now, granted, those are D'Angelo Russell's stats for the totality of the season. He's actually had some pretty solid games. His first game coming off the bench for the Lakers ended up being an 18-point game, which at the time was the most amount of points, tied with Dolan Connect, that any Laker had scored off the second unit this season. So the Lakers being less reluctant, or more reluctant, I should say, to trade D'Angelo Russell really shows that he's been mature, and he's talked about his position in this game, or in this role, rather, and he just wants to go out there and win. That's what D'Angelo Russell said, whatever it takes to win, which definitely shows the maturity. Last year when he got benched by Darvin Ham, I don't know if it's just because he maybe respects J.J. Redick more, but that was not what D'Angelo Russell was saying last year when he was benched. You clearly could see it in his body language and the way he was playing that he was not very happy in that role, whereas now it seems like D'Angelo Russell is a little bit more bought in and settled in, especially with the Lakers now in third after Houston lost against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Lakers now sit at third in the Western Conference. But outside of D'Angelo Russell and this report that the Lakers are reluctant to trade him, another big report coming out about a Laker legend and a new statue coming to LA. And that is going to be none other than Pat Riley, former Laker coach here, coached those teams, the Showtime Lakers, winning all those championships. Jeannie Buss saying today, the owner of the Lakers, that he is going to be getting a statue, and very well deserved. Very, very well deserved. It is pretty interesting because the Lakers don't have any statues of coaches, so he's going to be the first one, which, of course, is going to be met with a bit of controversy because you're going to say, well, what about Phil Jackson? He won 5 rings with the Lakers too. But to be fair, Pat Riley has, it's been longer since he has been with the Lakers, so perhaps that is why they're making that move, and maybe Phil Jackson gets one. The fact that Jeannie Buss and Phil Jackson dated, maybe that makes her a little, maybe she's a little salty. I don't know. I'm not going to be here to speculate, but it is kind of funny. So, but not Phil Jackson, but Pat Riley getting a statue, very well deserved for him. Again, phenomenal coach. He's been a phenomenal coach with Miami / now president for the Miami Heat, and has really built that culture. Convinced Rob Pelinka that Gabe Vincent and Kendrick Nunn were going to be good players, I guess, because they signed them and they've done have done jack squat during their time here in LA. But so shout out to Pat Riley for getting it done. A New York high school basketball legend as well from Schenectady, New York. I'm not from there, but I went to the high school that he went to, Schenectady High School, when I was in high school upstate, because I'm from Long Island, New York, which is downstate, right outside the city. If you're watching, you're not super familiar with that, outside of New York City. And, it's nicely dedicated. A lot of Hall of Famers are playing that court, which is pretty interesting. But anyways, though, a little fun fact for you. Last thing we're going to talk about tonight is some updates on the game tonight against the Utah Jazz. That game is at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, or if you're on the East Coast like me, 10:30 p.m. So I'm going to be staying up late to watch that. But the Lakers in-season tournament game, and they have yet to lose an in-season tournament game back to last season, as of course they ran the table, they won the championship, and hey, maybe they can go back-to-back. Who knows? But there is what we do know about the injury report regarding this game against the Jazz. The Lakers had revealed right here that Anthony Davis, he's probably going to be on that injury report all season long with the left plantar fasciitis injury he has in his foot. He's probable, assuming he's going to play. Bronny James, not that he was going to enter the lineup, but he is doubtful with a left heel contusion. Jackson Hayes still out with a right ankle sprain. They said about 1 to 2 weeks when he'll be reevaluated again. And Christian Coloco has done an admirable job being the backup big for the Lakers despite being rushed into play, figuring he wasn't going to play this early. Jalen Hood-Schifino, no shot he was going to play. Left hamstring strain. He is out, but probably wasn't going to play anyway. Jared Vanderbilt, Christian Wood still dealing with their surgeries, recovering from that. They are both out. No word on them just yet. But Rui Hachimura, questionable, did miss the last game against the New Orleans Pelicans with a left ankle sprain. I don't know what's with these Lakers spraining their ankles. Can we please not do that? But Rui Hachimura is questionable. JJ Redick did say, though, that he expects Rui to be back at some point this week. So Does not seem like it will be a major injury for Rui. Of course, you want to see him back. Dalton Connect has been on fire recently. Scored a career-high 27 points in that game against New Orleans and 27 impactful points in that win. So he's been really good. He's been providing the shooting and scoring with Rui out of the lineup, so it's not the end of the world if Rui can't play. The Jazz are also the worst team in the Western Conference right now, and I think have like the second worst record in the entire NBA right now, which I think the 76ers have the worst record at 2-11. Who would have thought that they were going to be the worst team in the league at any point of this season after signing Paul George? I mean, it has been a rough go, Philly fans. I am sorry for you, but for the Lakers, they're in third. We'll take it. And a player who's not on that injury list, though, is Cam Reddish. It seems like if he's not on the injury report, he's probably going to play. Seems like he'll be back in the starting lineup in this game against Utah tonight at 7:30 p.m. West Coast time. So thank you guys for listening. I know we covered a lot in today's video. We'll be covering the Los Angeles Lakers as we do on Lakers Digest. It's in the name all season long. We'll cover every game, all the updates you need. There's always something in La La Land, and we'll bring it to you here on Lakers Digest.